Hello everyone! Today we have entitled Parents subreddit, and the second story is the craziest story I have ever read on this subreddit. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, because I really want to get to 150 subscribers as soon as possible. My entitled mother borrowed $11,000 from me and now won't return it since she raised me. So I used to live with my mom and dad, who adopted me at birth. My dad always said I would inherit our family home after they both passed away. Well, my father passed away unexpectedly in 2021, and we had been struggling to keep up with bills since then. I got in a car accident in late 2022 and ended up getting a settlement check for it in June 2023. I loaned my mom a total of $11,000 for repairs to the house and bills to catch up on. I told her if we ended up selling the house and moving out together, she could keep the majority of the money since we'd be living together. But I never agreed to let her keep it if we moved out separately, since I would need the income. Since that conversation, I moved in with my boyfriend and she was staying at the house. She ended up having a stroke in October of 2023 and sold the house I was supposed to inherit and moved in with her new fiancé. She's giving me $4,000 back since then, plus her fiancé paid for a couple of car maintenance and repairs, so I have also deducted that from the money that she's owed me. However, she refuses to pay me back the last $5,900, as she feels like I owe her this since she raised me. I desperately need that money since I've gone back to school and I need to quit my job to focus on my studies and my health. I only have 4 months until I am done with my classes and I can get my new job and my career. She was the one that chose to adopt me. I didn't ask for it. I don't owe her anything for raising me. That's her job as a mother. She also always tells me about how she has money and that she's going to use it, how she wants to buy a new car, and how she went to Cancun for a vacation and went gambling in Vegas. I honestly don't know what to do. How do I ask her for the rest of my money? How do I live on good terms with her if that's possible? What should be my next step? Also, I don't have any sort of paper trail. That's my other issue. All was verbal communication. Well, honestly, I think that OP can kiss the money goodbye because they are not getting them back. The next story is a doozy. Crazy entitled religious DNA donator, also known as Dad, sends my mom crazy email after 10 years of practically no contact. As a setup to this crazy email my dad sent, I will give a brief background on what he's like and how growing up with him was like. My father and mother were always religious, fundamentalist Christian. The extreme ones that hate Harry Potter and fantasy things because they come from devil, couldn't listen to radio, watch most things on TV, and science was wrong. My dad was the pick and choose type of Christian, whereas he was always right and God said so. He doesn't agree with divorce, says that's not what God says you can do, so when my mom left him, it wasn't real. And once she's right with God, she would go back to me. So just a little bit of an ego. A quick way to describe his parenting style, aside from extreme Christian, it would be that he wanted the picture-perfect family without any of the work of making it so, and to be the best Christian helper at the church we went to. But we, the kids, never saw him, and he didn't help with our food, power, or rent situations. We had to move so much because we couldn't afford staying in the place we were at. After my mom left him, she converted to being a Christian Jew. Yes, it is odd. But by then, I was done with religion. It didn't make sense. It could be changed far too easily. And if every religion said that they were the one true religion, then no matter what, everyone is wrong and we are all doomed. So I've been non-religious since turning 18. I am 34 now. As soon as I could no longer be forced to go to churches or reading Bibles. I've since learned that I am bi and agendered. I don't care what gender I am, how I am called. And since Christians don't typically like that, I have not bothered telling my dad about it. I know he will go on a rant and rampage and rage at me, my mom and my brothers. I haven't seen my DNA donor in over 9-10 years. OP says dad or DNA donor, but it is the same person. And he would literally just show up for a day or so, take us out to eat, and try to connect with us briefly, and then leave again. We live in the USA and he's from Canada. He can sort of see what we are doing on Facebook and what little bits we are willing to tell him directly. But we've not bothered trying to keep the communication lines open. He sent emails to my mom at the end of March, only recently discovered, concerning myself, my younger brother, and the youngest brother. And it's the craziest thing I've read in a long time. Here is the direct thing, names changed or altered to keep privacy. Just a note that it will be a long, super delulu email, but OP will give an explanation to all the events mentioned after the email. Dearest ex-wife, where to start? Well, I guess asking for news might be a good start. I have looked at the Facebook page for her store, and I know she's slowly recovering from the robbery. Has she shared anything with you recently about how it's been affecting her? Has she visited you lately? Does she visit on regular basis? How well do middle brother and youngest brother get along with her? Now to the meat of this email. As I mentioned, for her middle brother, I know that OP made a professional of face at Abundant Live Assembly in probably 97 or 98. Has she kept up with the face? I know that the first time I visited you in Virginia, she was pretty into the whole Messianic Jewish stuff, even showing her friend and I, at the meal after the service, how she had tassels tied to her corners of her jeans because of it. But I get the feeling she's not currently living for God. I can't pinpoint anything precise for that subjective statement. However, I do know that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Matthew 12:34, Luke 7:45. And the way she swears does concern me. I first became aware of it one time I was visiting, and we went to watch a movie. She was 1 or 2 rows ahead of us, and you threw a few kernels of popcorn at her, and she called you an F-hat. I didn't say anything at the time, as I didn't want to start an argument, and I didn't want you to think I was questioning your parenting skills, or anything like that. Then she spent a few years with no contact. I even found her on Yahoo Messenger and asked her a question I had for her. She answered the question, then told me to not try to contact her again. It was only on your mother's funerals that we spoke again. At that time, she warned me not to be surprised to hear her swear, as she apparently swears a lot, but would try to tone it down for the day. It almost sounded like she was bothered by it, and maybe embarrassed that I would find out. But maybe I was imagining things. Anyway, she told me how when she plays online RPGs, the elf language consists of swearing a lot, and people were amazed at how fluent she was in the language. So of course, I am concerned about her spiritual well-being. Do you know anything about where she stands with God? Another thing she told me that day was that she had wanted to write me a letter, as she had issues with the way we raised her. So she took down my email address to send it to me later. She later lost the email but took the time to look me up on Facebook, which was an unexpected surprise. I guess she really did want to renew our ties to a certain degree. In the end, she never sent me anything like what she mentioned, so I don't know what her feelings are on the subject. Did she ever mention anything to you about the way we raised her? Do you have any idea what that might have been about? One more concern I have about her is whether something happened, whether spiritually or physically, at the school she was going to when you guys were still in Montreal. At the end of 2001-2002 school year, she had been saying that if they said she had not learned enough French, she wanted to continue learning. Yet, when she went to school the following fall, she came back during the very first week, wanting nothing more to do with French, and couldn't wait for you guys to leave for the States. Whereas she had asked me for help with homework in previous school year, now that she was at a new school, a high school, and middle brother was still in the old school, an elementary school. She didn't want my help, and barely put in any effort on her homework at all. She also didn't seem to like her new male this time teacher. So I have always wondered if something happened at that new school, whether in the physical or spiritual realm. Has she ever spoken to you about that? Do you have any idea what might have changed her outlook that radically in just a few days at her new school? I am worried that if something happened in the spiritual realm and it has never been dealt with, it may still be affecting her today on an unconscious level. Any idea? That's all I can think of for now. Thank you for your time. Love always. Oh my god! What have I just read? The whole 97-98 proclamation thing. I was 8. An 8-year-old who had just seen A Thief in the Night series about the end times and the rapture scared the crap out of me. That 2001-2002 thing was me discovering that I was depressed and dissociating. I hated being in a city where you had to learn the language, and if you didn't, you were looked down on and scorned. Also, there was nothing for us to do as we couldn't go out, nothing to watch, extreme Christians, remember? And no one around our ages to hang out with where we lived. I didn't want to live there, and by the time the second year of being there, I was tired of the whole thing. I stopped doing homework and technically failed 7th grade because literally every aspect of it was in French, even the art, gym, and math. I stopped trying to talk with him and reconnect with DNA donor when I realized he didn't think women should be allowed to divorce their spouses, even if the man was mistreating or it was to help her, because they should work it out together instead. And when I realized that, I realized I did not want to associate with someone who would allow another person to be mistreated and hurt if their God said so. So my question, do I respond to the email with a full list of what has happened and how I've changed? And if I do, this will 200% mean that he will try and convert me back, rant at my mom, rant at me, and be 1000% more annoying. But it would be so satisfying. Also, the emails he sent about my brothers are just as bad, though I only know what they are by paraphrasing from my mom. If this isn't meant to be here, please let me know. Oh, it means to be on Reddit. I think Reddit is the place. But I think as for replying, OP would better ignore it, because these kind of people, they feed on attention. And OP would just waste so much of their energy on a pointless fight that they will never ever win. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. You can also watch that awesome video or this awesome playlist. See you next time!